The Fiends of Nightmare. Sorry, whenever I think of this book, I have to read it and say it like that. The Fiends of Nightmare, a novella of Bauchelain and Korbal Broach, the newest one, if you don't count the sort of self-published-ish one that Erickson did on his Facebook page this past year. We're not here to talk about that. We're talking about the Fiends of Nightmare. So, the Fiends of Nightmare is a little confusing, but as far as I can tell, was originally published in 2016 by Bantam Press. It got a single release date and then was released again in 2018 as part of the second collective Tales of Bauchelain and Korbal Broach. However, both of those printings are really, really hard to find. A lot of people have talked on forums about how to find this particular work because used copies are like $25-$30 for this short story collection, sometimes upwards of $50 because it's just so rare. Thankfully, tomorrow, that is March 16th, the book is finally getting its own binding with this awesome cover art. So, thankfully, to celebrate that release, the good people at Tor sent me a arc of Fiends of Nightmare, and it's the only Bauchelain and Korbal Broach short story that I had not read yet, so I was happy to read it. So this is my brief review here, but I thought it would be helpful to go over how this is a new release, kind of, but not really. So I'll have the links so that you can pick up this book, buy it on pre-release, and get it this week because that cover looks amazing, and I know a lot of people out there really want this book to complete their set of Bauchelain short stories. So the basic setup of this book is Bauchelain is doing what he has said he doesn't want to do a lot of times, and that is grasp the levers of power. He's in this city. I forget the name of it. Hold on, I should have this in my notes. Farag. So there's the city Farag, and the old king was killed, probably by Bauchelain or Korbal Broach, and Bauchelain is now the new king in this area, but at the same time, there is tension with another country on the border to this city-state. So that kind of sets up the tension. This book, if you've read Bauchelain and Korbal Broach, you know Erickson, I think, does two things with these short stories. One is his sort of kind of wacky, weird side. He's able to sort of let loose, and so weird, crazy, like dark and just bizarre things are able to happen in this world that he probably wouldn't put in a main Malazan book or a larger novel, but he's able to kind of do for fun in these small things. And he takes themes and really goes crazy at them. And the theme in Fiends of Nightmare is definitely tyranny, and how tyranny has to exist by creating an us versus them mentality. And because of how the world has been, especially in the United States context where I live, this theme was very, very impactful to me. Now, I do sort of have some minor critiques to the work itself. My main one is that I wanted more Bauchelain and Korbal Broach. My favorite Korbal Broach and Bauchelain stories are the ones where they feature heavily, like The Verms of Bearmouth, really like that one, and The Healthy Dead. Both of them, those are definitely my two favorites, and they feature those main characters quite a bit. And then Mancy, of course, Emancipator Reese. Like, I love those three characters, and I want more of it. Fiends of Nightmare has some great moments with those guys, but it also follows a lot of the characters that we met in Cracked Pot Trail, which, if you have been watching my reviews, or maybe it'll come back out later, I don't know when exactly I'm gonna release this, but I wasn't a huge fan of that story in itself. So that's sort of the letdown here, but honestly, all of these stories are so short, and you get in each one some real zingers and gold in Erickson's prose and wacky characters. One scene made me laugh out loud. So if you haven't yet, I would definitely recommend picking up the Bauchelain and Korbal Broach stories if you are a Malazan fan. And especially since this new book is out, get this awesome, again, this cover is gorgeous. So definitely pick it up. Fiends of Nightmare, the now, I guess, newest release in the Malazan world, even though it was kind of already released. Anyway, you know how that is. Check out my other reviews of the Bauchelain and Korbal Broach short stories. I have gone through some of them in bulk, some of them in individuals. Check those out. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. And again, pre-order Fiends of Nightmare. Let's support Steven Erikson. As always, first in, last out.